I'm going to ask Miss Cindy, did anyone, so I don't see anyone from, oh yeah, okay. We've got all our departments covered. Okay, perfect. All right. And then I dropped off my pen. I had my pen. Three, two, one. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to greet you to our Tuesday, September 20th, Keep Our Beautiful meeting. We'll begin with item 1A. Let's take roll call. Here.
Present.
Here.
Okay. I need a motion on the floor, ladies and gentlemen, to excuse our absent member, please.
Madam Chairman, I so move.
Okay, Mr. Robles, I need a second, please. Okay, Ms. Olivia, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, being that there's no opposed, the motion passes. We move on to item 1B, invocation. We can just take a moment, make sure our cell phones are off, and just put ourselves in the spirit to take in God's presence and open our hearts and silence our minds. Dear Lord, we give you thanks for today, for all our many blessings. We praise you. We lift you. We adore you. We ask that you be with us today as we make decisions and listen to ideas that not only for our committee, but for our citizens here of Pharr. We also ask, it is a very important month for all those lives that were lost on 9/11. We lift them up. We lift their families up. Thank you, Lord, for everything. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, we move on to item 2A, the approval of minutes of August 16th, our regularly scheduled meeting of 2022. Members of the board, are there any changes, discussion on any of this?
What is the changes?
Mr. Carranza, Mr. Robles, everything look good?
Everything looked good.
Okay. I need a motion on the floor then to approve the minutes of August 16th, 2020.
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes as presented.
Okay, Mr. Robles has a motion on the floor. I need a second, please.
I second that motion.
Okay, we've got Mr. Carranza. All those in favor?
Aye.
Being that there's no opposition, the motion passes. Thank you. We move on to item 2B. And that it would be the discussion and action, if any, on any of Keep Our Beautiful 2022 projects. Committee, as you know, we've been discussing in previous meetings the idea of redesigning, rebranding our Keep Our Beautiful logo. And I want to, at this point in time, possibly call up Ms. Yuri she is with our City of Pharr, the Office of City Communications, the Media Department, and she has some ideas that they have brought to the table. She has her logo person that has designed and come up with some wonderful ideas. So, Ms. Yuri?
Yes, good afternoon. For the record, Yuri Gonzalez, Director of Office of City Communications or Media Department. So yes, we have a very unique and talented team with the Media Department here in Pharr. It's 9 individuals, from graphic designers to video journalists to, content writers. And so one of the ideas recently in collaboration with Mrs. Caballero is one of our graphic designers, Julia Walsh, who is actually here. Julia, if you want to join me. Julia will be, showing the variety of new logos that she has created herself. So she wanted to make sure she mounted these and have a physical copy, as well as, for our viewers, a slideshow of every single logo she's created. And we'll let Julia expand and elaborate on the new logo ideas. But creating these logos is part of the innovation with the city of Pharr. Rebranding and making sure that the concept, the design is new, it's fresh, and they're very talented and they have great ideas. And it's all part of a new series of videos that we want to showcase as well, and really just putting the spotlight and making sure more people in our community know about Keep Pharr Beautiful. So Julia Walsh joined us this year, and great portfolio when we first interviewed her, great work, and we knew she was a great fit for the city of Pharr, and she's been doing great projects with us. So I'll let Julia speak.
Thank
Good afternoon. My name is Julia Walsh. I'm just recently moved from Missouri to Pharr, and I was living here before 10 years ago in college. And to me, it was an honor to start working here in city of Pharr and have this opportunity to show you my work and all my inspiration. Also, I love outdoors, and I was talking before with Ms. Caballero, like I really love nature, and to have the opportunity to renovate everything is a very big deal for me. I hope that you really like them.
So, just a little history for the committee and for those listening out there. We had spoken, we've been kind of talking over the months about rebranding and trying to, bring things fresh. I know the city a few years back came up with a new logo. Remember the interchange? And it was all fresh and new. And granted, our logo that we've been using, this one, sorry. This one is, gosh, I don't even know how old it is, but it's got to be maybe 15 years old plus. Whereas there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like almost 2 decades old. And we thought of that, we got word that maybe it's too busy. Maybe it just was, there was just too much on there. How can we be recognized in a more fresh and simpler, new, modern way? So that's when our pláticas began with Miss Yuri. We began maybe as far back as March, talking about rebranding, trying to create something cleaner, simpler, and more recognizable. After all, if we want to be relevant and make ourselves known in the community, we got to make it recognizable for them and not too complicated. Sometimes this logo comes across as being a little too tropical and beachy or what have you. But so I'm just real proud that, and just happy, delighted when I saw these, because I know Julia incorporated our city flower, and she incorporated our, what we Keep Pharr Beautiful, greener and cleaner, which is obviously something that we didn't want to take away from our initial slogan or what we're known for. And if we want to go out and educate and be more involved out in our community, which I believe is the goal here, whether it's uh, composting, public events, community events, trying to create awareness with people that are, what is it? Trash that is being out, just dumped.
Yeah.
It would be awesome if there was just one singular picture, photo, slogan, sign. And it's like, keep our beautiful, like, don't dump here, like,
Mhm.
so this is where we're at. And so Julia and Miss Yuri had approached me about, we've got some logos we want to present to your committee. And so we're here for discussion. She was here to introduce it. We're here for discussion. And if you all are ready to select or choose, we can take action on it, because this is the appropriate point in our meeting to do that. So do you have anything to add on any of the different ones? Did you want to highlight maybe? So we've got that one up right now, right? Which is
Yes.
this one.
Yes, that
And
one.
I'll just show you, this is what's up. So did you want to maybe just tell them what were you thinking with this?
Yeah, I was talking with Josmar, that is my another coworker, and he knows a lot of what is the Pharr flower, the Pharr bird, and I try to incorporate that elements to the logo, and I play with the flowers, with the colors in different shapes and ways. So I do something very realistic, and I do something more simple like this. It's just like draw, but represent like what is far, And no,
So
I
can you-
really
Can you flip to the next one? I don't know if they're, okay. So then this one, right?
yes. I try to play with the text, like everything was clear and simple to read, because to me, like a logo needs to speak by itself. Like, okay, Pharr is Keep Pharr Beautiful. That's the logo for Keep Pharr Beautiful. So I try to put all the elements together, but in a clean way. So I really like all of them, and I wanna choose all of them, but I don't know. To me, they need to speak like what is Keep Pharr Beautiful, and the answer. So
Can you flip to the next one? I don't know if they can. Okay. So then this is again a little bit like the previous one.
mhm. The difference is like this one is the logo in one image is everything, and the other one is the circle and the text separate.
I like this one, the clean look.
Yes. One of my coworkers told me like looks like a stamp
A stamp,
Yeah,
a stamp that
to
we-
put in
right.
all of them.
And then the last one is this one.
Yes.
So again, she went to more of a simpler. This is more realistic, and then this is more.
I try to in that one. I try to play with the colors of the Esperanza flowers, like is the Pharr flower, and I try to do everything simple, because in that one we can use just the logo without the text, and the people needs to know like that one is Keep Pharr Beautiful logo. That is not necessary show the text all the time.
So I don't know if you guys have seen enough, or do you want?
See the first one again,
Okay,
please.
so
Square.
here, let me see.
I like the fact that all the logos look clean.
Mhm.
I like that.
Simple, clean.
Um, And if we're looking at
And
The
this-
letters
the
were
greener
dark blue.
part,
That way it's more far.
Oh, well, ask her. Ask Miss
Oh.
Julia.
How about if these letters were dark blue, more like the far color?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
way not. that way-
The good thing to have this kind of logos is like you can play with the colors of the text, like white, blue, to put in different backgrounds.
So it would look more like the
Yes.
art colors. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
This is more for conceptual, like just for us to
Yeah.
kind of.
yeah, in the same token, that one that you have in your left hand, I don't know that, I mean, I like that one, but I don't know that that green is the right green, but also a deep green wouldn't be good either. Perhaps something with, I don't know, a little bit more green than yellow.
So you're
Or green in
seeing,
here, like
you're
maybe the
seeing,
leaves.
you're seeing the yellow as green?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is
And
a
that's okay because I can relate to that. So
To the
this
other
was
one.
actually, it's more yellow on this one,
Right.
but on that one it's, yeah. So I'm comparing the initial.
so if you
So it's
see in the
yellow
screen
there.
is
the word
different.
Too. No, I like the way that comes out of the words, it just comes out of the words,
So
This one,
it's you guys discussion time, and if you guys, want to table it, we can, or we can move on to making a decision. It's all up to you.
this one speaks loudly of simplicity at its best. Because, you can certainly understand what it's all about and the fact that it's all in there.
Mhm.
And but to me, that speaks well for the Keep Our Beautiful Committee.
And perhaps on this other one, I think the hummingbird might be a little too animated. I don't know that I've seen hummingbirds,
I like that.
but I mean, it is a nice one too.
Mm. How
And
about
then
these
there's,
with this one with green leaves and the flowers? I mean, like,
so that yellow is more green, and so it was probably supposed to be more yellow, but it's just the way it came out right there. So just, and remember, she can tweak the colors.
Yes, I can do whatever
She
change
can
you
tweak
want
the
it.
colors. So
Okay.
obviously, like this yellow and that green is different than this yellow and green. You see?
Mhm.
You see the color. Okay. Well, I mean, it's up to you if you're ready to make a decision or you want to table it till next time. It's all up to you.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
I like that logo because it's a clean logo. The foliage represents, I think, what we're after, a greener far. I don't know, and I think it's got a modern look to it.
Very
like that.
clean.
Yeah.
It actually goes with the,
And it
with the
speaks
slogan.
out, really, it speaks out to us. Reaches out.
So your professional opinion on this one? It's clean.
It is. It's very fresh. It's very modern. It's very different that you have before. The thing like the text is no on the line, is no square, if no is around of the picture or the logo is different.
So you're gonna see in a bit, her associate, Josmat, the media specialist is going to show us something, and you're gonna see how necessary it is to have a clean, modern logo
Catchy.
to attach to the video or the
Beautiful project.
picture, and the need for that.
On Earth Day, perhaps, this is just a random thought, on Earth Day, maybe just that one day, we can make that circle stand out like it's the Earth.
Oh,
Yeah, we can play with the
Excuse
elements.
me, that is
See?
an
see
excellent.
that?
Yeah.
Yes, we can play with the
and
elements.
we know yeah, that'd be kind of cool too.
But these are drafts again.
Yes,
We don't have
yes.
to make these.
And that's the other thing that I wanted to stress to you, that these are our ideas. And as you can see, they're fresh, they're clean, they're modern. And it's obviously that, very talented, skillful folks here working with us. And so if you want to table this or if you want to make a decision, we
Let's
can.
table it.
Um,
But
Yes,
the
sir.
thing is, the way I see it is, if we vote on it now,
Mhm.
they can start putting their expertise on it, on that particular, unless you choose to wait and see, but what are we waiting for?
But, why don't we do this? We may want to look at saying we want this one and maybe perhaps another one you know,
Like,
running
show
through
us
the,
what Earth Day would look
running
like.
through the cycle again and see, well, you know, but I like the shape.
So you like this concept?
I like it personally.
I do.
I also like the one with the hummingbird, with the exception is that,
This one or that one?
this one here.
This one. Okay, I know that.
Which
Lydia
which
likes
is
that one.
totally different because now you've got a boxy look to it, but I don't particularly like the hummingbird in that shape, or in that form of flight.
So what if
Uh,
we, and I get your drift. So like, for example, um, one of the things that, and it doesn't matter, we can always, I'm, Parks and Rec was like, when you're ready with your new logo, we'll order a tablecloth, right? For that way, if we go to a community event, we have a presence. And then we work on possibly putting together a banner, right? But there's no sense in rushing it either. But if we can commit to maybe making a decision, this is September.
Because that can be made into a circle too.
Can this be made into a circle?
Yes.
And
clean-
then the
cleaned
words
up?
can also go
Okay.
around like that,
Yeah,
Well,
you know, make it
then-
more simple and do
then
away
you
with
know
the
that the
square.
shape is good because it, and then, so what if they come back with something kind of,
With a couple of different, yeah,
is that okay?
one with a
Yeah.
bird, and one with no bird.
Yes. Yes.
What do you think?
Absolutely, these are drafts, and we can always go back and make some modifications based on the feedback we've received
Okay.
today. The other idea is that we can have, stories on social media and just have the public vote for their favorite, gather that feedback and present to the next
Oh,
meeting.
yeah, that would be good.
And at least we have some feedback from the community that we've incorporated.
Because after all, they're the ones that are going to
Or ask the
recognize it.
employees too, not just
Absolutely.
ask the employees and, see what their,
yeah. If I had to pick one today, it would be this one.
And we know
But we don't have to pick
Esperanza.
one today.
Okay, so then we table it?
Yeah.
Do we need a motion on the floor to table it? There was no motion on the floor at all, so
Right.
then we are going to revisit this next month. And,
unless we decide between us, if we come and see what she has
Okay.
for us.
Yes.
okay.
In between.
Any other questions for Ms. Julia?
No, I think if we narrow it down, then you can kind of,
That's helpful for you, right?
And
No.
Julia, this speaks,
No.
this speaks well of you because this really tells us something. You were able to convey what we, the committee, stand for, what we
Yes.
represent for the city. So you did an excellent job with
Thank you,
all
sir.
of those.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Julia. We
Thank
look
you.
forward to seeing you next month,
See you.
and I appreciate it. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
work. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Again, we're really excited, and these are just drafts, so it's like our round one and the first time we present these designs. But absolutely, this feedback is valuable, especially for a graphic designer. Sometimes they can feel like I need more direction, so this feedback is greatly appreciated. Julia mentioned, Josmar, I'm sorry.
And I think your suggestion of getting the community, whoever that can vote, just express their opinion, I think that would be valuable for her. for
Right,
us, so
right.
it's a good idea.
Now we have these percentages on social media based on 3,000 people that saw the story, how many voted for, logo 1, logo 2, logo 3. And I think that's great data that we can also present next month. Josmar Ontiveros is also part of the media team, and he's been working closely with Julia. And again, this is why the logo is so important, because we want to make sure that once we are airing or showcasing stories that are linked to Keep Pharr Beautiful, it's the branding, right? The logo at the beginning of every single video. And Josmar, when he joined us, he really has an eye for nature. He really has an eye, for keeping Pharr beautiful. He's presented great ideas, and I'll let him elaborate on those ideas. And he's actually going to play, or Julia will play, some of the videos and stories that have been featured on social media. So we're really excited. Josmar, if you want to come
Yes,
up to the
please,
podium.
please. Thank you. So as he's walking up, I've met with Joe Smott a couple of times, and he's got a lot of wonderful ideas and has already begun to work on some things. He has, with the help of our urban ecologist and of course Miss Yuri Gonzalez, they've come up with a list of ideas, things that they want to cover. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I can't stress to you enough, trying to put the name forward, keep our beautiful in whatever we can, whatever way we can. My understanding is that these videos are showing on our city channel as well as YouTube. And then of course there'll be some social media impact as well. And perhaps this whole media blitz or media campaign can be named something, and it could be actually contribute, it could very positively contribute to our upcoming application in January, February. It just has to be implemented this year, okay?
Right.
I may remind you that. So, Josmar, thank you.
Thank you. My last name is Olivares. Sorry
Oh,
about that.
yeah.
Um,
Olivares.
just a quick background. I come from the outdoors, big woodsman over here. I love the outdoor photography. I'm a big birder. That's my main focus. Somewhat native plants. I work with Ruth Hoyt, the photographer. I volunteer at Laguna Seca Ranch. So I have a broad knowledge of like native animals, exotics, and I know how to market them. So moving on to the videos that I've already worked on. The very first one I covered Pharr tree count with Hannah Marble, and she collaborated with the master naturalist on counting the trees in the city of Pharr.
We are actually doing a tree count. We're recounting. We have a lot of more trees that were planted during the period of COVID. So we want to account for those that increase in numbers. And the reason why we're counting all of these trees is for a proclamation that the city of Pharr has called Tree City USA. And it's an excellent proclamation that accounts for the maintenance and care of a lot of the trees within the city limits. Trees are super duper important, and in addition to that, we're using an application that you can actually download on your phone called Trees Count. It's put out by the Texas A&M Forest Service, and it's really, really good for documenting trees.
The very top one on the list is the live oak, the Quercus Virginia. That's definitely on the top of the list. We have a lot of the maple trees, very top of the list. The mesquite trees, another one.
If you have any interest in trees or are wanting to get involved with something like this tree count project that my Texas Master Naturalist volunteers are helping out with, you can reach out to Pharr Parks and Recreation and ask for Hannah. We do also have a board on our city council called Keep Pharr Beautiful, and they're doing a lot of wonderful work in moving forward with these proclamations, bringing them to our attention and getting them implemented. So if you have any interest or investment in keeping Pharr beautiful, feel free to reach out to their board members as well.
So about that video, before we move on to the second video, in the intro, if you guys saw, we do have the city seal zoom in. That's where Julia would come into play. That's where we can start branding Keep Pharr Beautiful with the new logo. So we can start getting the name out there. This one is about the hike and bike trails that can be found throughout the valley, but most of it is in Pharr, so I wanted to highlight that.
Hi everybody, my name is Hannah Marble and I am the urban ecologist with the city of Pharr. And I'm here at our local hike and bike trails that were put in by Precinct 2 to tell you guys about how you can become more active and keep Pharr beautiful. Our hike and bike trails are a little bit over 6 miles long, and we have most of the stretches of this trail here in Pharr. So a lot of our community does have direct access to these trails. On these trails, you can do a variety of things like walking, jogging, and biking, and you can bring your friends and family with you, and even your pet. We just started our bird migration season, so we might see some nice colorful birds coming in from up north, and you'll see some really unique species here in Pharr. If you're interested in stopping by and using these trails, you can come by the Pharr Sports Complex and use the parking lot here for easy access. Now, if you do make your way out to the hike and bike trail at any point, please keep in mind, I'm sure you all know, it's really hot here in the valley, so make sure that you bring along some water with you. And on that note, please make sure that we keep Pharr beautiful and take our trash out with us.
Keeping our logo clean.
You-
is important.
Yeah. So obviously we're going to include the city of Pharr in the outro, but in the beginning we can highlight the importance of branding Keep Pharr Beautiful with the new logo that you guys choose. Later on, I do want to start covering more things on the actual architecture that is of Pharr, things that keep Pharr beautiful. I really want to highlight things such as landscaping. How can we landscape? How can we landscape? What is landscaping? That sort of topic. I know so far we've had Hannah Marble come out in most of the videos, but I've been wanting maybe covering more of the master naturalists coming out, maybe having members talk about the volunteer that they've been doing in the city of Pharr as far as their chapter that they're doing here. November, the birding festival is coming up. I do want to start covering more stuff on actual birding. So it's a lot to talk about.
I remember now, Mr. Josmar Olivares, what I was going to share with you.
Mhm.
Mr. Robles at our last meeting asked our gentleman from Development Services the importance of, Mr. Robles asked him, if you were to say, give me one, what concern or problem do you have the most? And he said illegal dumping. So illegal dumping could be another avenue
Yeah.
that you could highlight, and the importance of keeping our city beautiful and the proper way of disposing and dumping, where to dump our things. But that was what I was
There's
brainstorming. here.
got to be a legal way
There
other
is.
than just throw it on the
There's
alleys or
there's a
something
lot of
like that.
options in Public Works. I mean, there's a lot of options, but I know that last week you were working on a why we plant in the fall, and I know you went over to our you took some video
Right.
at the nature center, and then you took some video over at the
Some volunteers doing some gardening work.
volunteers
Yeah.
doing some gardening. Remember I called.
Yes, yes.
So that's pending, and but I think great start, right?
Excellent video.
And like I said, this whole campaign could be geared to fulfilling something very important in our application process next year. So anybody have any questions for either Mr. Josmar or for Julia or Ms. Yuri?
I think it's
Any
Great-
other
great work.
ideas?
it's great work.
Thank you.
Any other ideas?
We just have to keep in mind, like you keep stressing that logo that Julie's working with and everything. Using it in media like this will really, really get the word out so that people will just see it and know that it's Keep Pharr Beautiful. That's our goal. And that's what we want for all our community members, all our citizens, to keep Pharr beautiful. And this logo should be, and I'm sure, most positive that it will let them know that that's our goal.
As soon as that logo is chosen, any picture we put up, any video we put up, any reel, corner of the picture, intro of the video, put the name out there is the whole point.
And the media department already knows that anything the city does that has any influence of keeping our city clean, green, beautiful, waste-free, that logo is going to be attached somewhere. but it needs to be simpler. It needs to be simpler. So, anything else for
I'll just
Mr.?
interject a little personal note here. I've been working with Texas AgriLife for 8 years or so. And at the beginning, I started using the ladybug as my spirit guide, quote unquote. And so every time I send out a memo or something, there's a ladybug. If I leave a note for someone, there's a even if I don't sign my name to it. But it's gotten to the point among my colleagues, my coworkers, that if they see a note with the ladybug on it, they know it's for me. This is, I think, will achieve that. That if they see the logo, it's part of us.
I would say he's branded himself very well.
Yes.
Yes.
I've got it on my hat, or my shirt, everywhere, my
And
phone.
that's what you want for us.
Well,
Well,
for us to be,
Have a brand.
yes.
Have a clean, useful, relevant.
Yeah, so like, going off of that, like how Julia says, she mentioned the Esperanza flower. That's known as the city flower. It's not really a native flower, but is naturalized here. A lot of people already know what it is. You see them at HEB, you can see them in, in nurseries, you can get them. They're going to see it and they're like, that's the Pharr flower. So that's a good start to start branding, associating the city and keeping Pharr beautiful with the Esperanza flower. I know she mentioned the hummingbird. I threw that one in for her. I suggested that one. I was like, Pharr doesn't have a bird. Why not have it's a native, the buff-bellied hummingbird. It
Yeah,
drinks from the
they're
Esperanza.
here right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
September is hummingbird migration season. So it's like, if we're going to start marketing off of hummingbirds, it would be right now.
So you've got your Texas Master Gardener. Okay. You got right there. And then, of course, you already have connection to the Texas Master Naturalist.
Yes.
So, anything else for Josman? Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, Miss Yuri, congratulations on.
Can I briefly say
Yes,
something?
go ahead.
Thank you again for, Julia Walsh and of course, Josmar Olivares.
Olivares.
We have too many employees with the J's in my department, but thank you. I want to thank the committee for allowing Josmar and Julia to have that creative freedom. As creative minds, whether they're graphic designers, video journalists, they need that creative freedom to be able to put these great videos, content together. So thank you for trusting their work, and thank you for allowing them to be free. And hopefully next month we can come back with, more videos and, a new updated drafts of logos. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so with that, beings there, does anyone have anything or any questions on anything on item 2B having to do with Keep Our Beautiful projects? I haven't bothered y'all with any city events because I figured that we needed to have some sort of identifier. And so in that regard, then we move on to item 2C, announcements we'll begin with Development Services.
Good afternoon. Just for
Good
the record, my name is Jennifer Alvarez. I'm the Code Compliance Coordinator with Development Services, which is now Building and Code Compliance. So for this month, with our Elderly Assistance Program, we've been able to help out 3 elderly citizens to get their grass cut and the areas clean. We do have other applications that are in waiting. Weather permitting, we'll be able to take care of them very soon. We do advise the public that due to the weather, they've just tried to keep their properties clean and maintained, free of debris, free of trash or anything like that. Tires, if they do have them, to keep them free of water. We don't want any mosquitoes to congregate there. And we want them to keep their properties clean only because there's a lot of rodents and we don't want any infestations of anything going on. We don't want anybody to get bit, by any type of animal or anything like that. We continue to try to tackle the illegal dumping. We do have hunting cameras that we've been putting up on utility poles. We do have our Skywatch towers that have been placed in the more frequent illegal dumping areas as well. And we're trying to tackle it that way. But we do implore the public to have better techniques of getting rid of their trash or debris, not just throwing it in an empty field or anything like that, for them to contact the city to see what options best serves them.
I think a good video on illegal dumping, somebody getting a ticket or something.
How do you
Yes.
feel
Would be
about
good.
that, Jennifer? If we got Mr. Josmar Olivares, our videographer, and, you know, in the future, maybe, excuse me, I'm going to see.
Bless you.
Sorry about that. Excuse me. That would be helpful?
Yes, that would
Coming
be
up
great
with
to work
some
with them.
creative way
Mhm.
of calling attention to the illegal dumping problem,
Yes, ma'am.
and maybe, like you say, either someone getting cited, examples of illegal dumping, and then possibly proper ways of disposing. I'm not sure. That would be up to the videographer, up to Josmad, but most certainly you would be the contact person then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I know he's listening. So, but the other thing I was going to ask you is, so you all are back to your group is back to helping the seniors
Yes.
mow their lawns.
Mhm.
Is there a particular weekend that happens, or is that during the
We
week?
try to do it the first or second month of, first or second week of the month.
Weekend or week?
Weekend.
Weekend.
It's
So
usually on
Saturday.
Saturdays.
So are we back to first or second Saturday?
Yes.
Okay.
And weather permitting, we are able to take care of that. We're doing 3 properties now
Mhm.
instead of just 1 or 2. We're trying to
Right.
tackle 3 at a time.
3 properties. And you have a group of volunteers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. I'm so glad to see this continue. The need is there.
Mhm.
And I know that, just speaking for me and my husband, we're both responsible for taking care of our parents who are deceased now, their yards.
Mhm.
And we're out there, you know, doing that. And I can only imagine those seniors who don't have adult children or anyone to do that.
Mhm.
So again, I'm so glad it's still going on, and that help is there,
Mhm.
should that be necessary.
Yeah, we're also helping those that are disabled or unable to do for themselves. We can help them as well through that program.
And there's a number to call?
Yes, it
Would
would
you
be
like
the
to share that
yes,
again?
the office number. It's 956-402-4222.
Okay. So one more time, that number is 956-402.
Yes.
4222,
Yes, ma'am.
and that is building and code compliance.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have a name for the program, or
It's the
just
elderly assistance program.
elderly assistance? And this also helps anyone who is disabled, if they can call
Yes.
and possibly get screened for this opportunity.
Yes, there is an application that we can take over the phone, and then we go and assess the property to see exactly what we can help them with.
Okay, over the phone. All right.
And I might add that different parts of the city where I may be, I've heard people comment that this is a beautiful, beautiful event that's going on in helping the elderly, especially the disabled people.
Mhm.
So it's a win-win situation for everybody.
Yeah,
So
and we're
we-
very proud of it
Yes.
because we've gotten calls from other cities asking if we can help them, because as of right now, we are the only city that offers this program.
Perhaps an
commendable.
opportunity to brand this. Media specialist, media department. Ideas. Ideas. This is great. No, yeah. Yeah. Any questions for Miss Jennifer? No? Okay.
Just relay the message that we're very pleased with what's going on in your department.
Thank you. We
And Miss
appreciate it.
Jennifer, is there someone spearheading this within your department?
It would be with Mr. Rick Gamboa.
Mr. Gamboa
Yes.
still, okay. I'll shoot a text to him and make sure that he lets me know, and that way, I mean, if anyone's available here, we can show up and at least rake or, you know, do the do something. We've
That would
done-
be wonderful.
We've done
Thank
that
you.
before and been chased by bees, but that's okay. It's all good. And then how are y'all doing with those cameras?
The cameras are helping significantly. Once they see the sky towers there, they won't. Some will be brave and they'll still dump their items, but we do record everything and it does timestamp it and everything. And we provide whatever information we get from there to PD. That way we can tackle it just a little bit more. Any little thing helps. The hunting cameras, of course, they're smaller, so they're not really seen. And of course, they're camouflaged. So, I mean, that's a better way to get them doing, the illegal dumping, and then PD can assist us further with that.
They're not easily seen.
No, they're not.
So
And we
the-
put them pretty high up on the utility poles, kind of in the trees, but you can still see the area where they're dumping. But the sky towers, they're tall, they have the flashing lights, and it kind of hinders their ability to do anything there.
Anybody have any questions for Jennifer?
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very good. Very good. Next up on announcements, which is 2C from Parks and Recreation.
Hello, good evening. My name is Hannah Marble, and I'm the urban ecologist with our Parks and Recreation Department. I had a lot to go over last time, and I've got a little bit less this time. It's largely updates about ongoing projects and things that are going on, which is what I anticipated for the September-October area or time of year. So for programs, outreach, and events, in November, I will begin doing bird walks on Wednesday mornings and then a monthly Saturday bird walk. Those will be at about 8:30 to 10:30 in the morning. And that is largely due to the fact that we're going to be focusing a lot of our efforts on our Trail of Terror event in October. So I don't want to kind of take away from that and getting people to enjoy the nature park in a different light. And then so in November, it'll be kind of a 180. And so maybe people that were engaged in the Trail of Terror event, they'll be more inclined to come out for something a bit more focused, a little bit different than what they came out for in October. We also had a screening of a film called Deep in the Heart a couple weeks ago. We had a very low turnout, but it was largely due to the fact that we didn't advertise early enough ahead of time. So hopefully we're going to screen again once the weather is cooler at the nature park. We had a really great setup with the amphitheater. But Deep in the Heart is a wonderful independently produced film narrated by Matthew McConaughey about the wildlife and native things that we have here in Texas. It's really cool, and there's a really nice highlight of the RGV and our ocelots that we have here. So if you're interested in seeing that, feel free to look out for that on social media because we'll definitely be doing it again. And then lastly, as you guys saw, I've been doing some media outreach and videos and things. My hair is a little different from the videos, but we'll still be kind of moving forward with those. And like Josmar said, we're interested in interviewing more people than just myself. I'm not a media hog by any stretch of the imagination. It's just kind of the first resource, and then from there we'll kind of branch out. So ideas are welcome. Feel free to reach out to me and let me know if you have anything in mind that you'd like to highlight or advertise. We'd love to kind of cover that and assist in any way that we can. Moving forward to some volunteering and internships, we do continue the tree count. Our master naturalist group had some personal things that they were kind of minding over the past month or so, so we're kind of slowing down a bit, but we did start our internship with the students from UTRGV, so they're going to be trained and we'll hopefully finalize and complete all of that by November. In addition to that, they've been helping with hummingbird and seed feeders at the nature park. So if you're interested in seeing hummingbirds, like we mentioned earlier, there are so many at the nature park. And with the hummingbird feeders, it's really fun to sit on a bench and watch them get territorial over like a hummingbird feeder. You'll see like our big green buff-bellied hummingbirds, and they'll start dive bombing these tiny little ruby-throated birds. And they're super cool. They're just pretty to see. Everyone loves a hummingbird. So I'd highly recommend taking a walk out on the trail when you have a chance at the Pharr Vanguard Nature Park. In addition to that, we are making progress on our habitat restoration with the National Wildlife Federation. We'll begin spraying 2 city school parks and the DRC, the designated areas for habitat restoration. We'll be doing that tomorrow morning, most likely. Given that the weather permits, if it does rain, there are certain regulations that we have to comply with, and we can't spray. So it's been kind of getting pushed back a bit. But regardless, we're still moving forward with that, and we are planning to have planting days in November. We're going to finalize a delivery date with the nursery for our first major shipment of plants. It's probably going to be a good, like between 1,000 or 2,000 plants. So thinking about where to put all of that. But once we do, we're definitely going to need some help. So if there are any middle or high school teachers that are interested in getting groups out there, 4-H clubs, other volunteer groups and organizations, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to schedule and organize those with you guys. And I'm not just relying on everyone else to reach out to me. I'll be making communications with people as well. So yeah, look forward to that. It's not just going to be November. We'll be planting through December and probably all the way through early March. So it's not limited to 1 month if there's testing at the time that I reach out to you and stuff like that for schools. Lastly, I wanted to kind of briefly touch on the 2 proclamations that are kind of on my mind a bit. First is Tree City USA. Applications normally reopen every September. They were making updates to their website, so they just opened yesterday. So we'll be reapplying sometime this week, and hopefully we'll receive that designation again. We'll proclaim a tree, we'll proclaim our city as a Tree City USA. And the first weekend of November, if I'm not mistaken, is Texas Arbor Day. So we intend on having an event. Details to come about that in October. There are lots of great things that we can do with trees here. Secondly is the Mayor's Monarch Pledge. When we took the pledge back in February, there were 3 action items that we committed to. The first was we issued the proclamation. That's done. Second is we want to have a community art project. That one is pending. Ideally, we could kind of solicit or recruit a muralist of some sort to do some artwork at the nature park. We have a lot of space on those restrooms that we would love to have covered in some beautiful like Monarch related artwork. I don't have a good like visual imagination, so I can't even think of like what these people come up with, but they always come up with something gorgeous. So something to consider if anyone out there is listening, is who's interested in sharing their skills. Feel free to reach out to us regarding that. If not, we'll kind of start making those connections ourselves in the next month or so. Lastly, the third action item that we committed to was installing a pollinator garden. Our huge habitat restoration will cover that. So we'll have plenty pollinator gardens over 15.5 acres come December. And then finally, I'd like to kind of put forth the proposition that next year for the Mayor's Monarch Pledge, we pursue more action items. A lot of what I do and a lot of the programming that I would like to pursue over the next year or so is very much in line with the Mayor's Monarch Pledge. And the more action items we do, the more impressive it looks, not just as a city, but as in terms of our commitment to preserving the natural monarch population. All of that being said, does anyone have any questions about any of the things I've gone over? Did I miss anything?
Well, it's very evident that you have your hands full. It's very evident that every one of these projects that you have in mind will definitely help tremendously the citizens. So we commend you, and I hope you do find volunteers to come out there and help.
Awesome. Thank
Keep
you.
it up.
Yeah, and like I said, if you reach out to the 2 FFA chapters
Mhm.
in the city, they've done that kind of work before at Sal del Rey and over here at the refuge. So,
Oh, cool. Will do.
so if you need help, reach out to them. And I know community service is one of the things that they try to hit, so.
Definitely.
that could
Thank you.
probably help.
His daughter is one of the FFA teachers at Southwest.
Oh, how
Southwest
exciting.
is one of our high schools, right?
Far
Southwest and North.
Southwest and PSJ North.
It's a good
I've
legacy to
had-
have.
Those three ag teachers, because we lost Sarai, but those three ag
They're all
teachers were all my
products.
students.
They're all products of you. Yeah.
Which may not be a good thing, but
See us afterwards and we'll give you phone numbers.
Will do. Okay. I appreciate it.
And then I have a couple of comments, but do you have anything to say? So Josmat had mentioned, there's a big birding festival coming up
Mhm.
in Harlingen, and we know that people come from all over the world, right?
Yeah.
Not just the nation. And mentioned possibly doing some sort of video incorporating, I don't know, maybe some birding.
Yeah, I
stuff.
don't see why not. A lot of the demographic that's missing from a lot of our nature stuff is the community that's already here.
Mhm.
So advertising that something like that is here, that people can go do and enjoy that, even if they may not have the money for field trips and things.
don't
A lot
have
of them can be covered by scholarships, especially if you're a student in college or even a high school student who's interested, and with a chaperone as well. So maybe an adult who's interested. But yeah, definitely. I think having a video on that would be
Maybe a
fantastic.
basic bird watching 101 from your angle, and then those free spaces that we have just here.
Yeah.
The nature trail, the park, the Vanguard Nature Park, the hike and bike trail.
Yeah.
But just a good way to there's people that think that they need super expensive binoculars, hiking shoes, and this whole thing, but it's just going
Yeah.
and being aware, right?
Mhm.
It's just simply being aware of what they're seeing.
Definitely, yeah. It's more accessible than people think.
Then
So.
people think
Mhm.
it's very like, oh my God, I can't do that. I wanted to mention I did see the Deep in the Heart. I didn't see it when you aired it
Mhm.
at the Vanguard Nature Center, but I have seen it and it's amazing. So if anybody has an opportunity, anybody out there listening in the listening world, it's a great video on all things Texas that have to do with nature and our habitat. And it really, really emphasizes the importance of keeping Texas beautiful and
Mhm.
keeping true to our resources and their integrity. So I highly recommend that video. I wanted to ask you what you meant by you're going to be doing habitat restoration, and you said spraying. So
Yes, ma'am.
what is it you're spraying? I'm just kind of curious.
So the recommended solution was actually glyphosate, which is largely found in Roundup.
Okay, so
And
you're
yes.
spraying the grasses.
Yes, ma'am.
Those
Yeah.
invasive species. Okay.
And it's mostly, yeah, like the city school parks and stuff, it's mostly like their Bermuda grass that's already been planted there. There's not really a good way to get rid of it mechanically unless you want to involve like thousands of man hours. And then if you go through with a disker or a tiller right away, you actually kind of encourage it to
worse.
grow more. So the National Wildlife Federation actually recommended spraying. It's not my favorite, especially given the season that we're in, but because there aren't a lot of pollinating plants around those spaces, we're going to be doing a little bit more better than harm on the creatures there. So we're just gonna get rid of the grass, and then the residual. I can't remember what it's called, but having it stay in the soil is very short, so it's not gonna like sit there in the soil for weeks or months or anything. It dissolves after about 24 to 48 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm sure some of us have experienced pulling invasive grass by hand.
I use Roundup all the time. And it is a contact herbicide, so
Yeah, it
whatever
is.
it touches, whatever it doesn't touch, it's not going to mess with.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. Well, anybody else have any questions for Miss Hannah? Hannah, you're a busy woman. Praise God, you're with us. Wonderful program. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I hope
Alright.
your job didn't make you pull your hair out.
No, it didn't. It was just
It was
hot
cooler.
and I
It
had
was
too much
cooler.
sweat going on, so I'm just like,
Yeah, it
I
looks
also
nice.
donated it,
Yeah,
so
it looks
I
great.
appreciate
Looks
it. Alrighty, awesome.
Thank you again, Miss
Thank
Hannah.
you, I
We
appreciate
really
it.
appreciate your hard work.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, so then we move on to announcements from Public Works.
Hello, Crystal Medina,
Hi, Ms. Crystal.
Environmental Supervisor for Public Works. I'm going to give you a quick recap of some of the things that went on in August and then some of the upcoming, well, current and upcoming items that we have going on. As far as for the amount of tires accepted in the month of August, we had 955, and our recyclables, our tonnage was 42.06. So we were able to deter that amount from going into the landfill. Currently, we are in the fall sweep of 2022 for Keep Texas Beautiful. It began September 11th and it will be ending on November 15th, which is Texas Recycles Day. Within that, we're kind of implementing different types of events, whether it be for residents and or for employees. So right now, till the end of September, we do have the BYOB, which is bring your own batteries to Public Works, whether it be car batteries or lithium batteries, batteries that are higher than a 12-volt charge. You can bring them into us and we are sending them off to TerraCycle to be recycled. We also have we had the BYOPB, which is the bring your own plastic bags. And that was, it was aimed towards the employees of Pharr. And we did have a turnout. We had 82 people who actually participated in it, and they were able to fill up a box that we purchased from TerraCycle to be sent back over to them. We the contest ended on Friday and we sent it out on Monday. So it was sent out yesterday. Within this, we were able to purchase an incentive for the employees. I gave you guys each one of those. It is with our logo, current logo, and they're just, just a little give back. A lot of the employees of Pharr, they do a lot of hard work as far as recognition as trying to be environmentally friendly. So, we do so much for our residents. It's always nice to kind of give back to our coworkers and let them know that, their efforts aren't going unnoticed. So we went ahead and we will be delivering them on Friday. And with the delivery, they are going to get just a little goodies as well. We do have a winner as far as it was like a friendly contest amongst departments. So I haven't said who won, but I guess I can. So we actually had two departments that were literally one person beat the other department. So runner up was the library department, and then the winners of the little basket giveaway that we're going to do was the HR admin department. They were actually the ones that were able to win. So and we also had the development services department. They were right there. Those three were back to back. So they did a really, really great job as far as filling up the box. It was already to the point where I was having to like really crush it. But it filled it up. So we were able to do that part. Within the purchase of the socks that we got, that company, which was called Eco Promotional Products, they were able to plant 5 seedlings with our purchase of that. So that was another little token that we were able to get with them. Also, so beginning October, which is our new fiscal year, we are also going to begin the Trash Bash events again. So we will be rotating on a monthly usually it's the last Saturday of the month unless there's a holiday. So we will be rotating from the north to the south part of Pharr. So one month it'll be in the south, and then in the next one it will be in the north. So in the south part, it's going to be at Jones Box Park from 8 to 1. And then in the north, it's going to be at our collection station. We have made a little bit of changes as far as the time, which before it was 8 to 4. Now it's going to be 8 to 1. And we are limiting the amount of tires per household. And that is just because this past year we had an overwhelming amount of tires that were brought in. And we're just trying to get more of a control of how many tires, residents are bringing in. Because, I mean, a household, if you have 2 cars, you bring in those 8 tires or and on top of that, we still accept the 4 free tires on a monthly basis at Public Works. So there's several opportunities that you're able to bring in the tires and we don't charge you anything for them. As a reminder, these are regular vehicle tires. These are not semi-tires, and tire shops are not allowed to bring them in just because they are within a tire permit and they're supposed to be paying for the disposal of those tires. So we did apply, well, we applied yesterday for a green bag grant. It's a small grant through Keep Texas Beautiful and HEB Central Market. Winners will be announced October 28th. So we're just asking for the replacement of our utility trailers on the mesh, and we kind of want to update them and put a wrap on them to kind of promote our services for the city of Pharr. So hopefully we'll be able to get that. And if we do, we'll be able to, go through with it. But if we don't, we hope we do. If we don't, I've already spoken to my director, and it's something that's very feasible for us to be able to purchase. It needs to be replaced anyway. So, hopefully with grant monies, it'll obviously help us. But if we're not, we're still going to go ahead and move forward with this. And then if we are able to get the new logo, it actually comes out in a perfect time frame. So, we'll be updating everything as it goes. So that will really be beneficial to us. So that's pretty much the recap for what has been going on, what's going to be going on. In November, we have Texas Recycles Day. So we will be giving t-shirts out to the community on that day. Anybody who goes and recycles correctly, we'll be giving t-shirts out to them. T-shirts out to all of our businesses who are recycling. Just a token of appreciation. It's an education factor, and it's also just a thank you for helping us continue to keep our city, green, clean, and beautiful. So
November 15th is on a Tuesday.
yes.
But that being said, you will be recognizing at a trash bash or
It'll be on that day.
You'll have
so
something.
yes.
Okay.
So whoever goes by on that day,
to
the Pharr Public Works at
Public
1015
Works.
East Ferguson. And we'll be there all day, 8 to 5, or until the shirts are gone. But hopefully that doesn't happen.
Okay, so Public Works. Okay, very good, very good. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Crystal? Gosh.
Just one, Crystal. On the TerraCycle, if there's a youth group that wants to do an event, can they reach out to you about maybe getting them a box, or do they need to buy their box?
I mean, I don't see why we couldn't get them a box.
Okay.
There's a lot of programs that we are able to do, especially through the schools. I remember one time I had mentioned the cran raisins.
Yes.
Those. So I had mentioned it to a few schools, and they wanted to do it. The only thing is that the kids didn't eat those, so there was nothing to throw away. So there's a lot of things that we can do, and pretty much if they're willing to take that extra step in helping me, then I can definitely buy them a box.
So all these things that you are talking about, like the competition amongst the employees, that I can see us, like if you do this again next year or what have you, I can see a nice little friendly video kind of burning the, kind of who's going to come up number one.
Yeah, and I will probably have to buy more than one box for next year because it was a really great turnout. I was scared it wasn't going to be, but we had a lot of help from our admin. We sent city emails out. We were able to post everything by the time clock to let the employees know this is going on.
It's a great problem to have.
So yeah, it was really good. We had never done anything like it, so it's nice to see them get involved. And it was so easy. All you had to do is bring me a plastic bag with a few bags in it.
Are those boxes very expensive?
They're a little pricey, but it's for a good cause. But
you mentioned something with HEB. HEB quit putting out their canister where you could throw or recycle
plastic. Yeah.
What if the city of Pharr took one to the store at HEB? I mean, you'd fill it up in a day.
Well, we could definitely fill it up. I know that I had spoken to HEB maybe a year ago, and they said that they only put those the baskets out for recycling only during a certain time of the year, and they sent them off to be recycled, but it's not out all the time. So yeah, ultimately, if we could kind of just refrain from using
Using most of
them,
it,
that
yeah,
would
but
be
yeah.
ideal. We're always encouraging people to just, go through their tote bags. But, that's,
Another idea for our videographer, reduce the use of plastic bags.
and if anybody who's listening and you want a tote bag, contact Public Works. We have so many of them. We're always willing to help. Just anything to kind of beautify our city and not use those plastic bags, because I guarantee when you're driving home, you'll see those plastic bags in the trees, in the fence lines, and we don't have to do that. If we just use our totes, it'll be just a different story.
Very well said.
And speaking of plastic bags, when you drive around and you see them on the trees and mesquite trees and all that, we know them as the Texas birds. Just see Texas birds everywhere because they are everywhere, whether you want to or not. Even in remote parts of the county, somewhere you're driving through a dirt road, there's the Texas bird over here, the Texas white bird over here, and all that. So that's bad.
Yeah, that's not a good reputation to have.
Well, I don't have any other questions for Crystal. I just cannot imagine 955 tires.
That's a low number considering
And
all
I
our
just
other
think
months.
it's like,
Yes.
I'm like
Yeah.
Stu going, where do all those tires come from? But I can only imagine.
And speaking of tires, I don't know if I've mentioned this before or not, but I was elated to go to my local Walmart, and in the garden section, I see a big container, or a container, flowers or whatever, was made of recycled tires. And to me, that's a big, big thing.
Yeah,
course,
and there's residents in Pharr who will use those tires for for flowering, for
Yes,
anything like
yes,
that.
mhm.
And it's so easy to make a craft out of that.
Yes.
Make it a project, paint
But
the tire.
This was something that was manufactured. It was a round container. And I thought, wow, this is a good use
Mhm.
of recycled tires.
Well, I'm happy to hear Trash Bash is coming back. Do you have any idea if we're going to start south or north?
The first one is October 29th. We are starting in the south.
On the
In
south
the south
side.
Pharr, yeah.
Perfect. Jones Box then, October 29th.
October 29th.
20,
The last Saturday.
the last Saturday of October.
The-
Okay.
Oh,
Last Saturday of October, because we're not
Yes.
September.
I think it's
so
29th. I want to
The
say it's the 29th.
Yes, ma'am. October 29th. Okay. Anybody else have any questions for Ms. Crystal? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Appreciate all you do and your department, as well as Parks and Rec and our department, which is not development services anymore, building and code compliance. I really appreciate you all being here, everything you do, and your department does to keep our city clean, green, and make it beautiful. So thank you again. Take those well wishes and blessings back to your directors and extend to them our thanks on behalf of our committee for everything that is being done, because it takes a team.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Oh, yes, you're welcome.
But yeah, I don't have any more questions for Crystal.
No.
Everybody good? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. With that, we're going to go on to administrative item 2D, board comments. Anybody have anything? Ladies and gentlemen?
Very informative.
We had a meeting that was very informative, full of wonderful ideas that definitely the citizens of Pharr will benefit from all this.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are outdoing yourselves. Thank you. Kudos. Many, many thanks. You guys are busy. Praise God that we have you on Team Pharr. And I just, it's amazing how much is being accomplished on a daily basis. And again, thank you, thank you, thank you. No other comments? Nothing? Okay. I just want to end just making sure that our listening public understands. Tune in to the Pharr City channel. Look for it on YouTube, on your Spectrum channel as well. Download the city app, the, what is it, the 311 app, download it, get to know it. Anything of interest or concern, you can also get on there and report it. I know one day I was driving down Cage and I reported a signage that I thought would cause great harm if it fell on a pedestrian, on someone walking on the street, and I got a quick response saying, I did it through the app. I got a response saying it would be attended to, and then I got a response saying it had been taken care of. No one knew who I was. It's just that it was on the app. So it does work. I highly encourage people getting connected. Read the advance. Check out your water statement for any notices that the city might be putting on there, on any events that might be happening in your here in the city of Pharr. And again, thank you for spending your evening with us. Thank you for contributing and sharing with us and helping all of us keep our city beautiful, clean, and green. So with that, use one last bag, one less water bottle, and try to reuse and reduce. And that's all I'm gonna share with you. Anybody? Okay. So with that, we're gonna move on to item 3, adjournment. I need a motion on the floor, please, to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Ms. Ramirez has a motion on the floor. I need a second.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Robles seconds the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, being that everyone's in favor and there's none opposed, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you again. God's blessings. Be safe traveling home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I just want to